be frustrated if like your friends are subscribing to your partner's OnlyFans.
I told them I'd put him in a grave.
So I'm saying, like, how did we get to the point where you're like, okay, let's do sex work?
Yep.
Did X have an OnlyFans before you guys got into a relationship?
No. And they were like selling photos to strangers for money. And even to the point where they were like going beyond that. You ever wonder, like, where's God in all of this?
But I think when people hear sex work, they immediately think someone's like standing on a corner popping pussy.
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. That is prostitution.
Did they look better than me?
Smash. Next question. Yes, next question.
What's going on, Internet? Welcome back to the Girls vs. World podcast. I'm very excited for today's episode because we're going to be talking about something that should be a very interesting topic, and we have our first guest on the podcast today. So I'm going to roll the intro music, and then we'll get into it. What the heck? First guest?
Yeah.
What the heck?
It's me.
I know.
Why?
Honestly, I'm sure no one is surprised.
I know.
Were you guys surprised this is our first guest? This was not our plan.
No. You're like, no.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, it's my first time being on a podcast episode with Josh.
Hell yeah.
True. Very
It's
true.
funny because I recorded the episode
Oh
that
yeah,
you
technically,
did
I guess you were
for
there.
the Rockstar's Girlfriend. And I was like, oh, I want to
like,
be a
phoned
part
a
of this
friend a couple
conversation.
times.
I was recording it the whole time. I'm like, I want to be a part of this conversation.
That was the same thing with Casey's episode
That's
too.
always how it goes, that when you're not a part of the
Literally.
conversation, you want to be. It's
I'm
like
double
FOMO.
downing.
To
I'm
be
double
honest though,
downing.
every single time that you produce, it's a fire fucking episode. So like, maybe it's a little magic sprinkle touch or
Whoa.
something like that.
Well, thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, anyway, since you haven't been on Girls vs. World before, I'm going to tell you, we usually start off with this thing called a banter box. I'm sure you've watched the episodes.
I have.
Do we have a banter box?
Yes, I have a banter box. Okay. So, everyone's going to answer this question. If you were kidnapped, why would your kidnapper return you?
Why would my kidnapper
Return you to your owner.
to my parents?
Yes.
Because
your
Drop you back
handler.
off.
because I cannot stop talking.
That would be
So
my
fucking
answer.
true.
I know that sounds like a generalized thing that some people say. Like, I think that would be a problem. Like, I think they're gonna be like, I am so fucking sick of this guy. If I hear one more thing about anime, video
Like,
games,
your tactic would be like, let's just talk to him about regular life
music,
shit.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's
Yes.
just talk his ear
Josh
off.
would be
Yes.
like, have you ever been depressed?
Hey, do you wonder where we come from? Like, do you ever wonder, like, where's God in all of
Like,
this?
hey, Mr. Man, hello.
You're just like one of those little kids that's just like, why? But why?
Yeah,
but
questioning
why?
everything.
But why?
But why?
You can't touch the knife. But
Why?
why? Because it'll hurt you. Because why?
But why?
Casey,
Yeah.
why would your kidnapper return you?
Mine would be asking to stop for a vape too many times. Or asking for a vape charger.
Yeah.
Asking for an Enjoy Pod.
Okay, got it.
I think that
Hitting my vape too many times.
Yeah, I think-
that would culminate. Yeah.
if I were to get kidnapped, I think that they would be like put off by how like cool with it I was. And I think
Right,
they would
I
just be
wouldn't
like,
be
we want
mad.
somebody else. Like, I think I would just be like, oh, okay. Oh, you need to like, oh, cuff me. Okay. And I would just be like, all right, cool. This is fine. I think that they would
They
just
would
be like,
literally-
I need somebody that hates this more. Like,
Right.
Yeah, you'd
we're
be
worried
nonchalant.
about you. We like the last thing this girl needs is to be
They would
kidnapped.
literally be fighting with each other like, dude, she's a fucking narc.
Yeah.
Like, she is a narc.
Yeah.
We need to do something about that. Like, ma'am, are you a narc?
Yeah. Or I just
No,
like
like-
be like making jokes the whole time. Like it would be so unserious.
Just
to
like
me.
no regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, whoa.
Oh, shit, what are we doing next?
That was scary.
What are you gonna do? Put a bag over
If
my
I got
head?
kidnapped, like, I'm gonna roast you the whole time.
Yeah, I'd be
like,
like-
I'm roasting
Yeah.
you.
Dead ass, like,
think that-
neck beard having looking ass, fucking
For real.
doo head looking ass,
Yeah.
fucking stink ass breath looking ass.
Yeah,
fucking,
literally.
Like,
that-
hey, you can't drive, dummy.
you can't drive.
That's honestly why I would get returned. Because I'd be like, yo, I'm fucking car sick. I'm about to throw up. Let me
Yeah.
drive us to wherever we're fucking
All
going.
over their van.
They'd be like, excuse me?
I'd be like, you don't have heat in this bitch? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
I'd be like, your car's making a funny sound. You should get that checked out. What's that
Like,
rattling
that
noise?
sounds like you need a new belt, actually.
Yeah, I feel like actually, you know what? Your wheel bearing in the back right is going out. You should probably get that.
Don't talk to me about a fucking wheel bearing.
Why? What happened to you?
Alex knows he can pick up the sound of a wheel bearing or a hub bearing.
He needs to drive Josh's car because that shit's fucked right now.
Like Alex will be like, "Yep, it's that one on the right driver's side, and
That's
it's
how
making
I am.
that noise, and it's gotten worse over the last 3 days by this many decibels." And
This many decibels.
Yo,
I mean,
that's
Alex
fucking
just
wild.
looked at my car like very quickly, and he was like, "Girl, you need to do this, and you need to do this. Have they talked to you about this yet? Oh, you need a new windshield." It was like
he's
10
like,
minutes.
"They didn't tell you about this belt?"
Yeah, I was like, "No."
That is so fucking funny. Oh my god. Anyways, we're not getting kidnapped today. Even though we did kind of kidnap you for
Unfortunately,
I know. Even though we did kidnap you for this episode, we have a very specific thing that we want to talk to you about on this episode today. And that is
Your experience dating somebody who like was like a sex worker or like had an OnlyFans, right?
yeah.
that just is what
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
just what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and I think it only makes it awkward if we tiptoe around it. So
Yeah.
like,
That's true.
And like I feel like a lot of people don't really like consider like a partner in that dynamic, like
right.
you know. So I think that like it's like an interesting
Yeah.
like perspective.
I feel like coming into this, I don't want to make such generalized statements. I feel like I have a very like nasty habit of doing that sometimes where like I don't want to say I don't think before I speak, but like sometimes I just make generalized statements,
Right.
not thinking about like the impact it might make immediately. So like speaking now, I'm not talking about like my experience is completely resonating or reflective with like every single person.
Yeah,
No,
it's just
it's
your
not a
experience.
You're not
universal
speaking
who has
for
this
everyone.
experience.
Yeah,
And
it's just specific
I
to you and
guarantee
your
you, like
dynamic.
the listeners, the viewers, like you guys might like me saying that might make it come off like there's negative connotations to that, but no, by no means. Like there's no negative connotations to that. Like I will just tell candid truth about like what it is. What
Yeah.
do you guys think you might want to know?
Okay,
Like,
so first
what-
of all, your relationship with this person, what are we going to call this person for context?
we can call this person X. We can call
X.
this person X.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your relationship that you had with X, me literally being like fucking interrogating you about your ex.
So actually, what day did you meet?
No, so your relationship that you had with X, did X have an OnlyFans before you guys got into a relationship?
No, I was the one who
Oh.
actually pushed them into getting it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's where it was like kind of like a little more of a twist. And
Okay, so
there's so much lore surrounding that.
Yeah,
but
I need.
Okay,
I
so
need to
drop
go
the
elaborate on
lore.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, give us a
synopsis.
Yeah, give us a little intro into this whole thing.
Okay, so like early before the podcast, let me be a little more transparent and candid. Cameras wherever I can't see.
They're
it,
all
so
they're all
bright.
there.
The relationship immediately started like 2 months before COVID hit.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Okay.
Oh shit.
You know, finances for this specific person was hard, and you know it wasn't even any easier on me, but I got by. I made do with what I had, and I was working pretty steadily. They were having issues in that realm every now and then, which not to their fault. It was rough. It was very rough. And there was a period of time in that relationship to set the tone for the relationship. There was wavering times where right before I entered this relationship, I had a lot of growing to do
Okay.
as a man, as an adult, but as a man more specifically. And I used to be very like toxic masculine, like very toxic masculine.
In
like,
what way?
Yeah, I was gonna say like in what
I
regard?
was very quick to slut shame. If I knew any woman had a body count higher than mine, even equivalent to mine, I was quick to shame them.
That's a
Very
big
quick.
double standard
Yeah.
with like toxic
It was a
masculinity.
big hypocrisy, very huge hypocrisy. I was also like very I didn't know how to characterize it then, but now it seems like, you know how like these like alpha bros keep talking about being alpha male or beta male and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh, no.
I don't want to say by any means I was an alpha male, but
Okay.
like I think I had like the alpha male
like mentality.
of like, you're my partner, so your naked body's my naked body,
Yeah.
and your bathing suit body is
Yeah.
my bathing suit body. I feel like I had a very dominant
I was
personality as
just
a
gonna
male.
use that exact word, not alpha, but more so just like
Territorial,
the
maybe?
male figure is a more dominant gender
Yeah.
role.
Yeah, and 100% I believe it was my upbringing, and I'm not trying to make excuses for myself by any means. I know where
That's
it
not
all
an excuse.
I know where it all
Yeah.
derives from. It was definitely my upbringing. I had a very weird upbringing, and then like on top of that, I was in the military and I was surrounded by just some of the most, not that I should have became a product of that environment, but like I was just surrounded by some of the most belligerent people sometimes. And they just like, they were,
Shocking.
yeah, right. And so they were just like, I kind of had to go with it. You know, I kind of
Yeah.
had to bro out. And
Well, I mean,
it-
here's the thing, like, as it's human nature that we are a product of the people that we are around, the experience that we have, like,
Product of your
so like
environment.
you are, you literally, that's like science, that's
Yeah.
sociology, like, so you can't ever blame yourself and be like, oh, well, I shouldn't have ended up that way, I shouldn't have acted that way, like,
Right.
I don't know why I did that, like,
and
it's no one's fault because
Yeah.
everybody is a product of their environment.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
right.
and to that point and carrying on into the story, like it set the tone for the relationship, and the relationship had its huge fluctuations. There was moments of huge highs, very high highs, and very low lows. Like when the highs were highs, they were crazy. When the lows were lows, they fucking sucked.
Right.
It was hard, and we both admitted that to each other. And there was self-destruction on both ends. It was just consistently just constant self-destruction all the way through. But there was a period of time where, amongst all of that, out of that chaos, I was able to like find solace in a means of like coping with the fact that like I needed to understand I had an issue on my views on women.
Right.
I had to like completely restructure that. And I'm not saying that I was like the most toxic. I just had stringent ties of like toxic masculinity that would peak in my feeble little brain every now and then. And I thought it was like cool to say, not realizing how demeaning it was to the character of women.
Yeah.
And so like I now realize that, and in the relationship, it set the tone. Now here we go, fast forward. There was an opportunity where there was some strife in the relationship where I was kind of shaming them because I learned about their sexual past, and they had told me in a wavering period of time when I was doing this, not proud of it, but when I was doing this, they had told me about this time when they were like selling photos to strangers for money, like big bucks, and even to the point where they were like going beyond that. And like I was like, whoa, it was just for some reason, like I look at it now and I can't believe how vulgar my reaction was at the time, and I feel like now I can kind of like look at myself and be like, Josh, what the hell, dude? Like you could have literally not reacted at all,
Right.
and
Yeah,
that
but-
would have been better.
But I think it's also really hard to not have a reaction in that
That's what I was
situation.
Well,
gonna
so like
say,
really,
yeah.
really quickly, not to divert from how I'm gonna round this story out, but like, what is your guys' take on that? Like, how do you feel if I'm like, well, I mean,
Well, I think, okay, pause. First of all, I think that like it's kind of somewhat normal for like if that wasn't like a conversation that you had with somebody like before you like got into a relationship and like you're kind of going through the motions of being in a relationship and then it just kind of like comes up. It's like understandable to have like somewhat of a reaction. to
That's
it.
jolting.
True.
Yeah,
True.
like that's a,
honestly.
it
was-
is a lot to like to kind of
Yeah.
take in and like to I mean like to come around to that and be cool with it is like a green flag in itself. I think that like
it's
some people like they might have been like I just like feel uncomfortable with that and I don't know how I feel about that and I'm going to take some time to adjust to it. Like I don't think that it's necessarily like bad dog.
Yeah.
If you like
And-
didn't have the most like warm like
it was
you know,
weird,
super accepting right off the rip. Sort
Correct.
Of thing. Yeah.
I will say that like your reaction is what I would expect out of most men.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing too is like
Yeah.
as a over communicator myself, I think it also depends on how you were set up for that conversation. Because I think that if it was me in that position where like maybe I had like an OnlyFans account or wanted to start an OnlyFans account or I was selling photos to people or something like that, I would have been like, I want to sit you down and have a conversation, and I want you to think about this for a couple days and not say anything right now. And I don't want you to react because I don't want your knee-jerk reaction. I want you to have time to think this over,
like process it.
and come up with your response, and then talk to me. Because I think that like it might be because it's like out of the norm and not something that's very normalized or like by a lot of people, it's not very accepted. I don't want to see that knee-jerk reaction in case if you're willing to work it out with me or work with me on that kind of thing. I don't want your initial reaction because I'm never going to get rid of that in my brain.
And I mean,
You can't come back from that.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
So I think like to me, if you had a knee-jerk reaction like that and you weren't set up for the conversation properly, I mean,
it's almost like that first impression, that first interaction about the topic sets the tone for everything moving forward.
And that's why you have to be so careful, in my opinion.
And not to say that monogamy is the only coherent form of a relationship.
Yeah.
No.
But I identify with monogamy.
Yeah, me too.
That's just me.
I couldn't get down with
I don't share.
And I'm not saying that this person that we will call X, I'm not saying that they didn't. They definitely did. But the way let me get to that point on
it took
like
some time
how
to realize.
it went. So yes, immediate jar factor, like jarring factor.
Right.
Like I felt mortified, and I think it was just from the the years of my possessive mindset,
and also like the way your dad raised you to like view the world in some aspect might have
100%.
like played into that.
Yeah. But and it's funny because that's a double-edged sword on its own. He had some of those mindsets, but then he had this other mindset like, women are sacred. Like, you need to literally treat them and take care of them.
My dad taught
and
me
then
to
I was
respect
like,
women,
okay.
but his view on sex
And then
work,
respecting,
but a
the view
police
on sex
officer's
work.
view on sex work is
It's a completely different mindset.
It influences you as you grow up.
Absolutely,
I also think it's
absolutely.
important to note that like being a sex worker wasn't as normalized at like even 5 years ago as it is now.
I'm also going to burst the
Very
bubble a
true.
little bit. If a guy is just absolutely adamant on like shaming sex work, this man has no fucking clue what sex work even is.
Yeah.
They have no idea. Like
100%.
literally selling feet pics could be a form of sex
No,
work.
it absolutely is.
And
It actually is.
everyone's sitting here like, well, how the hell does that make sense?
Because they're beating
because
their meat
everyone
to your
thinks
fucking feet
whether
pics.
you want to believe it
because
or
they're
not.
sexually attracted to your
Whether
feet.
you want to
Yeah.
believe it or not, a fetish is a fetish, and people are getting off to your feet. Like,
Yeah.
that's the
But
thing.
I think when people hear sex work, they immediately think someone's like standing on a corner popping pussy.
all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
All the time. That is
Yeah.
prostitution.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Also a form of sex
It's a
work.
form of
But
sex
that's not
work.
even how prostitution looks anymore. We
Yeah.
have the internet.
No.
Literally, I was gonna
And,
say.
like,
You will never see a prostitute standing on the corner like that. Like, they
Doesn't
have
exist
like
still, yes,
we
but
have
different
evolved
forms.
back
I just feel like
like
sex is so taboo. I went to the Museum of Sex in New York, and
I also went to that.
You
I
learn.
want to go
I
there
wanna
so
go.
bad.
We should go.
It's an
They got
awesome
a big
museum.
ass
I
titty.
love it. Yeah,
It is
they
an
do a
awesome
big
museum.
ass titty.
When you get your juvenile little brain out of the way, like out of the booby bouncy house and all the
Yeah.
other crazy shit, it has some of the most beautiful like history on sex
Yeah.
and just the naked human
Yeah.
body.
Okay.
No,
And,
I
like,
very much enjoyed going there. I was
feel-
like kind of like hee hee hee.
I feel like
at the
now
beginning.
nowadays, like now how this ties into OnlyFans, it's like it was so normalized all of our lives to just constantly shame women, most men and women, but mostly women on their body
Yeah.
all the time. I mean, that's what started movements like Free the Nip and everything surrounding those kinds of movements and everything like that, where it's like, okay, weird that men can just show their hairy chest and fucking
Yeah.
flaky looking crazy ass nipples everywhere, but like women who might have like
Flaky nipples.
fucking I don't fucking know.
Flaky nipples is crazy.
Like scaly, flaky nipples. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Whatever.
Some
But
eczema lotion.
I just I think it's just a world of continuous double standards, and
No,
so
it is.
yeah,
You're right.
So it set the tone for the relationship in a bad, toxic. Like we were off to a bad start.
Yeah.
Originally.
and that tone continued to set through the relationship.
So I'm saying like, how did we get to the point where you're like, okay, let's do sex work?
Yep. I knew over a period of time that X was struggling with money,
Right.
and they needed a means of figuring out how they were going to just survive.
Right.
And I could only provide so much, like, let alone myself, even for what I could even provide for them.
Right.
I couldn't be able to support the two. And thankfully, we weren't even like living together.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
living at my parents at the time. And so,
Did your parents know?
no. And I don't think they ever found out.
Sorry, Mary.
if she's listening. I don't think they ever found out. Yeah, well, I don't even want to harp on that, but yeah, I don't think they ever found out. And
Did X's parents know?
I think there was wording,
Evidence? Like
ruminations.
yeah,
like
rumors.
suspicions?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think there
rumors.
was. But anyways, so they approached me one day and they were like, "Listen, time had passed. Some time had passed. I was going to therapy because I needed to seek therapy for way more than just what had been going on in that relationship. I had so many unresolved issues that I now know what they are, and I'm happy about. Not so much, but I am, because now I can tackle that. Yeah. But I didn't know at the time, and I needed therapy, and therapy helped. And then it got to the point where it was helping me figure out more as to the error of my ways. And I was like, okay, I'm getting it. Was I perfect from the jump? No. Was I trying a little too hard from the jump? Yes, I was.
He said exposure therapy.
If it was like a personification of love bombing,
you're like, yes, put that pussy back.
Yeah, I'm not slut shaming you. I'd shame you if you weren't being enough of a
You're like,
slut.
yeah, I'll take pictures of your titties for you.
Actually, that shirt's not small enough.
Yeah, what the hell, you whore?
Turn on the air conditioning.
I had to like say it in lowercase because I was so scared. So anyways, so they had approached me on this idea, and some time had passed, and I grew, and I was like, I literally, it was so funny. It was kind of like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast moment. Like, I just kind of stared at them while they were talking. Yeah. And I was like, and I started hearing like numbers, and I don't want to sound like it was all monetary, because by no means was I getting any of it. But I just thought like.
They didn't even take you out to dinner?
They did.
Okay, good.
They did with the money. I felt good about that. I did. Thank you if you ever watch this. I just like had tunnel vision just listening to this, and I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I think it's a great idea. Like, they approached me with the idea, and I was urging it. Like, they kept having doubts, kept having hesitations. They had reservations out of nowhere. Like, after, I want to say like a week of kind of culminating on the idea a little bit.
So you're probably like, whoa, why is he being so chill about this? Like,
I was kind of
do I need to test the water? There's no resistance.
I'm not gonna dive into too much. I really don't want to talk about this relationship too much. Give me 1 second. I have to burp. Oh my god, guys, please. I literally deep throated an entire Chipotle burrito, please.
That was an 8 out of 10.
That's a real, for sure.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I cannot. But as long as I look good. As long as I look good.
You always look
We're talking
good.
about sex work, and he's talking about deep throating Chipotle
Chipotle burrito.
See, it's double
exactly.
standard. Like, how come like they can't just like flaunt their bodies and I'm just fucking deep throating burritos and shit? Double standard.
Exactly.
So it got to the point where from the get-go, like, they were gaining a lot of traction. From the jump, it was cool. It wasn't like they were getting like numbers in the hundreds, but I mean, from the jump, I think like the day of starting it, like at least 30, 40 subscribers.
That's great.
Immediately,
Especially,
just from
even if it's $5 a month,
just from
like,
posting on a profile
good.
of theirs, one of the social media platforms, I can't remember which, that had like very minimal amount of people, and they made like within 2 weeks like over almost close to $2,000.
That's awesome.
Like,
that's a paycheck.
if not, within like the same week they started it, they made probably close to like a little over $1,000 to $2,000. Yeah, close to, or somewhere around that. And I was like, holy fuck! Like, I want to start one. What the hell?
For
Like,
real.
I was like, you know how many gay men like hit on me all the time? Like, maybe,
Yes, I do.
maybe this is my time to shine.
You know what? I've actually had conversations with Trav about how like. I was like, you should start an OnlyFans because people are
He's
curious.
a very good-looking guy.
He's
You see
good
what I'm
looking,
saying?
and
Like,
I feel like people would be curious, and even if they only subscribed for 1 month, like I feel like people would have.
Maybe
done
they're
it.
like,
yeah.
I subscribe. I gave that man 1 month of my money, and then I got to see what I got to see, and I left.
Yeah,
You know?
no, just imagination.
For the imagination,
Yeah.
and that's where my mindset had to be. I'm glad you said that because like, I think. With therapy, being able to kind of talk me off of the Golden Gate Bridge, essentially, of like my insecurities and my toxicity and like just so many things I literally needed to like abandon. Like there was just so many things. I had my boundaries. And
I was gonna just ask you about boundaries.
Yeah. I had my boundaries, and the funny enough, the reason why the boundaries started was because a couple of people that subscribed to this person were kind of friends of mine.
See that? And people that were subscribing.
No.
Like, they knew me, they followed me, they knew who I was dating at that time. Like, they knew who that was.
Yeah, I would be so.
They knew exactly who that was.
Wait. Did you say anything to them?
I was gonna say, did you text them?
I did. I said things to them, and I'm not proud of it. I used to crash out.
I would be proud of that shit.
I would crash out in an instant.
I'm a good boy now. I used to crash out a lot worse. I used to.
Hold on, pause though. I feel like you are being a little bit hard on yourself though, because I would act like I think it's only natural to be frustrated if like your friends are subscribing to your partner's OnlyFans.
I told them I'd put him in a grave. I told them verbatim I'd put him in a grave.
Like,
I said, do
literally,
not,
no, for real, because literally, watch this situation right now. If you had an OnlyFans and you subscribed, I'd be like,
you would be outside the house. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd be like, should be. You would be like,
Come
I got
out,
a baseball bat with your fucking name on it.
I got something to say to you.
Yes, my car would be keyed and I would deserve it. Like, it's fine. I mean,
there's levels
I wouldn't really
to
care
that
that much,
shit.
honestly.
There's levels to it.
Yeah.
Like when you know that like this person that you're dating is interacting in a sexual capacity with strangers, that is a little bit different than like, okay, you're interacting on a sexual capacity with my homies.
So when
that's wild.
Yeah.
So I bring this up because we talk levels, right? So when this initially happened, like the initial subscribe raised enough eyebrows because I was like, okay, I think the subscription they started with at the time was like $5 a month or something like that. And I was like, cool, if 50 people subscribe for $5 a month, that's $250. That's solid. What are we going to do about that if it's people I know? So they were like, I don't know, like we knew a lot of mutual people.
Yeah.
And they were promoting their stuff on the platforms that like we shared a lot of mutuals on.
Yeah.
And it got weird. Funny enough, I sound like such a total cuck in what I'm about to say, but like it even got to the point where like I was even promoting their stuff on my thing.
That's good though. You're a supportive partner.
And it was I stand by it, but like some people reached out to me and they're like, why are you doing this? And like,
because I'm trying to help my partner get a bag. Like,
Right.
what do you mean?
And that's literally what I said.
Yeah.
That's literally
like
all I said.
supporting your partner's
And it's
We
hard.
got
It's
work, bro.
And it's hard
literally.
because men are so fucking toxic. They really believe that, like, especially in scenarios like that, like, that's their platform. That's what they, and because you set the boundaries and you allowed them to do that platform, you deserve a cut of the pie.
Kind of, yeah. No, I kind of think yes.
I do
sorry.
too.
Oh, really?
I do too.
Maybe that's unpopular, but like,
That's interesting. That is a very unpopular
perfect example
opinion.
when I was potentially like gonna be selling like feet photos or they're like sugar daddy kind of vibes. There was a point in time where that was like potentially like something that, you know,
you had thought about,
yeah, like an opportunity presented itself on a couple occasions.
Hell yeah.
And Travis, like half jokingly but kind of half seriously, was like, I'm gonna have to require a good 10% because that's cutting into my time with you. And like we kind of chuckled about it, but I was like, actually, like if my partner is being supportive about this, like why would I also not want to like share or like have them reap some of the benefits of it? Like that person is, I mean, again, maybe that's unpopular, but we were living together at the time.
Maybe
like,
I need to reshape my mindset on it. I mean,
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Hear me out though. And maybe tolerate me, humor me for a second.
Go ahead. But
I think I'm tolerant towards both options. I think
say. I don't think there's a wrong answer.
I don't think there's a wrong answer there, truthfully. And I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. Like I really think that there's no wrong answer in that.
Depends on the relationship.
It just depends on the relationship.
Yeah,
I mean, my boundary was like, okay, I find it weird that like all these people who subscribe, even people that I fucking know, can like just look at you full frontal nude. Mm-hmm. There's got to be like, what about the videos you can send? Because they can also record videos,
they
which
can
this person
them
wasn't,
on there,
and they can request them at the viewer's discretion.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and the viewer can up the ante of money, in any facet
There's like
they
a
want
whole.
to.
They can like literally have a whole conversation about like, hey, can I?
They can get paid to just have conversation, just sex conversation, and so it's funny because like I didn't think of it like that back then, and I think and again, I'm just going to reflect on myself. Mm-hmm. I am going to take it easy on myself. But I think I was just trying so hard to like bandage some of my wrongs that I was like, okay, like I'm not going to take the money because it is your body. Yeah. My mindset was like, it's your body. It's not my body. Like, yes, you are my partner.
Yeah.
But
That's realistic as well. But I also think, like, yeah, maybe, like, again, maybe it's unpopular. And I don't really think that there's a right or a wrong way to, like, view that situation.
Cool.
But I do think that, like, if that were me, I would.
you would have gone the opposite
Yeah,
way.
especially if,
Cool.
like, my partner is helping me, like, promote it and
Cool.
then is, like, doing that, I would be like, okay, like, yeah,
Go
you're
off.
gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna share.
I also
Go
think
off.
like a big part of like why I agree with you is like because I'm thinking of it in the aspect of like if this is a side hustle I'm taking on, I'm doing it to benefit our life together.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
we have a life together, we have a home together. Like shit, let's use that for a fucking vacation fund. Let's use that for a new
100%.
couch.
That's what I
like,
need. Yeah,
full-
put a
you
down
know
payment
what I
on
mean?
a
Like,
house
let's
with
use that
yeah.
so that we together can like get a bag.
Let
you
me-
know, like Alex made the same comment when like we were all floating that idea around. He said the same thing. He was like, "Yeah, I'll take pictures of your feet, but you got to cut me in."
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
And I was like,
Yeah.
"You're right." Like,
yeah, I think it's fine, but I also do understand like some people are like, no, like I'm doing all the work. It's my fucking body. Like this is my money. Like I think
Yeah.
I think that it really is specific to like the dynamic, but I also don't think that you would have been necessarily wrong
Yeah,
if
totally.
you're like, okay, I also have to tolerate my friends like subscribing
see,
to
that would be a
Yeah.
hard boundary
I need
for
a
me.
little compensation.
That
Like,
would be a very hard
Yeah.
boundary for me,
I
where
don't
I would be
know.
like, "Listen, you're not going to entertain any of my
I
fucking
just realized
friends."
I just
Yeah.
realized I
Like,
totally deviated from that, but I wanted to say I am sorry because I was trying to talk over you, but I wanted to say let me make it clear that the dynamic of our relationship with this person, they weren't like it's all my money. That wasn't their mindset.
Yeah.
Let me make that very clear.
Okay,
I think
gotcha.
I should have said that from the get-go. Like I didn't even request money.
Gotcha.
They weren't even offering necessarily. I think they were offering in certain stringents of like
yeah.
depending on what they were making.
Like,
but they
yeah.
weren't making like a ton at
Right.
all. It's just like
Okay, gotcha.
like some days were better than others. Like one week people are really fucking horny apparently, and then the other week everyone's lost all horniness. Like it's just
Yeah.
gone. It's
No,
just
that
dissipated
is real.
completely.
I
And
have
that it's
friends that are
literally
like
like
that, yeah.
a fluctuation of metrics or in a business or viewers on YouTube or Instagram insights.
I mean,
or
it's a
some shit.
business at that
It's a
point.
bit. It's literally a
yeah.
business, and that's another thing I don't think people actually realize. These motherfuckers get W-2s and tax forms.
Yeah.
Like this person I was dating got like tax forms, and they got penalized because they didn't file like apparently like the proper tax forms through OnlyFans through the IRS. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
If
But
that doesn't make it legitimate work, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
no, it
You gotta
literally.
pay fucking taxes.
Yeah.
Like,
OnlyFans gives people W-2s. It is legitimate work.
Yeah.
It is legitimate work. And whether or not the people are always doing legitimate things on that website, I
Right.
will not advocate for. I am just saying that people who do choose to do the legitimate work, whether they're sex workers or whether they're not, because you can use OnlyFans for a multitude of things. That's the route it is. Now, to the story of the friends, yeah, that was weird. And initially, like I was like, okay, like I'm a little weirded out by that. But as long as things are like, cool, we're good.
But
like as
do
long
you
as
feel like you saying cool, we're good as long as things are cool, that was you trying to be over the top accepting of it to try and correct like the wrong
100%.
faults that you had?
Yeah.
Like you were like
Overcompensating a little bit.
overcompensating, be like letting too much slide.
100%. And I'm a piece of shit, so of course I was being toxic.
Don't talk about a friend like that.
I was being toxic, and I knew I was gonna somehow just weaponize it later because I was like, yeah, sure, it's cool. And then all of a sudden they were texting this person.
No, see, that's where
yeah,
my boundary
see, like
would be.
it's a slippery slope.
And
Because
they were
I'd be
and
like-
they were like,
I'd be like, I can't
yo,
stop
are you trying
people.
to like essentially slide through?
I'd be like, I can't stop people from subscribing to you, but you cannot entertain them
Exactly,
specifically.
exactly.
You cannot accept their request for conversation, accept their request for more money, accept their
Oh, I'm
request
not
for
talking
videos,
about
blah, blah,
randos.
blah.
I'm talking about the friends.
That's
what
I
I'm
mean.
saying.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm
yeah.
saying is like that's where my boundary would be because I'd be like I can't like prevent people from subscribing to you. They can do whatever they want, but you cannot.
Yet I can't remember how we got past that. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I did like verbally threaten those people. I'm not proud of it, but like I am.
I would be proud of
I
it.
would
Yeah.
crash out, brother.
I crashed out. I did because that's all I knew how to do at that time.
I actually
and
have a couple questions for
Yeah,
you whenever
yeah,
you
what's up?
finish your
Yeah,
thoughts.
well, sorry.
I have so many questions.
But,
Yes,
like,
look-
I think that's the end all be all. Like that's everything. Like I'm sorry I don't have like juicier.
No,
No,
we
it's
know
easy.
no. We have questions for you. So
Yeah.
shush. What's your question?
Okay, number one. were they like transparent with you about like everything that they were doing on OnlyFans, or were they like, was there a period of time?
Everything. I had access to the account.
Because that would be another
okay.
thing important to me, would be like for example, if they were like texting somebody, like getting paid to text somebody, like I would want to like at least like know what they were, know that was happening, and like be able to feel comfortable like knowing that I could see that, like peek into that conversation if I wanted to, kind of thing.
They were so open about it. Like, I think even just the idea of me entertaining it maybe was happy for them. I'm not 100% sure, but I will say that like they had me sit down with them.
Yeah.
And like watch them create the account.
Okay.
I did not do that on my own merit.
Yeah.
Like, I had no desire. I was really trying my best for it to like not be so controlling and consoling. Like, I was like, okay, let them take the reins. Let them do their thing. We'll see what happens. And I was just watching it. And then they were like, oh, yeah. So this is the, like, username. This is the password, everything like that. So, because, like, just so you know, like, I'm not, if you ever wanted to look into it or anything like that, like, it's like legitimate. Like, there's photos and videos that you're going to see that it's what you see is what there is.
Yeah.
Like, but I think that was probably it. Like, they were, like, there was no shadiness.
Yeah, that's good. Because that would be
if I naturally recall.
I know people where that was not the experience.
Yeah.
So that is why
it's unfortunate. They were genuinely a really honest person.
That's good.
Like, they genuinely, like, just all, like, I think quite literally always an honest person. There were times I think they did hold back saying some things to me, and I'm guilty of doing the same thing. Yeah. But genuinely just honest.
I have a question. Were you getting the same treatment as people that were subscribing and paying for conversation? I'm thinking of like sexting even. Are you getting the same kind of treatment?
Level of intimacy?
Correct. Or is it more of like a performance that they're doing because they're being paid for it?
It held up. It was pretty much even.
Okay. So it was even. Yeah,
it was even. I'm not going to go into like detail or anything.
No. My question is like, are you not getting shit, and then because this person is paying for it, this person is getting a fucking performance?
Yeah.
That's my question.
No, I was getting
the same
treatment.
Okay.
You didn't feel neglected by any sense.
That's the question that I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
My other question was, from what I'm hearing, is like you started off like kind of seemingly like, you know what, like I'm gonna give this my blessing and like try and feel really good about it and be supportive.
Which I shouldn't have even needed to give a blessing.
Yes, but not everybody's capable of coming around to something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that like while sex work is work and it is like totally fine, like there's no shame in it, it isn't like it wasn't normalized. I mean, 6 years ago it wasn't normalized. OnlyFans really did like normalize sex work and make it like a thing.
And it sucks because like
so at that point in time it was not normalized.
I really had a lot of high hopes for it even in that era, even though I know it was getting stigmatized so badly. Like people were demonizing the absolute living shit out of it, and like even still today, it's like the toxic masculinity never ends. It's like people see a video of a girl and they're like, oh, thank God this one doesn't have an OnlyFans link. Or thank God this one. And I'm like,
or my friend,
or they're looking for an OnlyFans link. And
I
I'm
have
like,
a friend that has like fake boobs and a bunch of tattoos, and people are like, oh, what's your OnlyFans? Like assuming that she has one well. So and that could kind of go either way.
And I'm like, you guys are losing your absolute fucking minds.
Yeah.
Like y'all are desperate for pussy.
Yeah,
like
sincerely.
Really desperate for pussy.
Yeah.
Like they can figure it out.
A lot of them are married and in relationships themselves, so it's kind of bonkers.
Ooh,
but my
tea. I don't even want to think about that.
I
but
know.
That's tea, yeah.
But my question
is
that a lot of them are in relationships or marriages themselves, so like they really shouldn't be that desperate. But it's bonkers. Anyway, my question is: do you think that like being in a relationship with somebody with an OnlyFans, like in real time, kind of helped you learn, like, okay, this is real work. Oh wow, like what you're doing is literally like a business.
100%. While I was on my journey to like learn how to literally stop being so shaped in such a really weird like primitive mindset, that actual experience was able to kind of like bring a lot of clarity. Like it was able to bring me a lot of clarity. Like I had a very trustworthy partner at that time who was literally just trying to make some money.
Yeah.
And I really and it was so funny seeing it from the inside out, like watching everybody else's reactions on the outside, demonizing, saying some of the worst things you can think of for no reason. And like
you kind of got a different perspective.
and then you're on the inside and it's like
you kind of see like what somebody actually like
it's
deals
literally
with.
the most mundane
Yeah.
thing. It's like I take a pic, I post it like it's Facebook. I make money.
Yeah.
It's such a straightforward process. Like there's no like everybody thinks
It's transactional.
everybody thinks
Yeah.
it's rocket science to an elaborate ruse of cheating. And it
Yes,
can be.
It can be. I do have.
I'm not
I do have a
denying
story
that.
to share as
Yeah.
well. Like as a side note, is I, on the other hand, know somebody that had a fiance that the marriage was called off and everything because they found out that that person was subscribed to somebody's OnlyFans, and it was not like a profession. It was more of somebody who. Like that person wanted like the attention from OnlyFans
so
as
like
well.
they were
And
trying.
they ended up meeting up, and it was like an actual cheating thing. So,
And
like, I do
think
think situations like that make it hard for people that are doing it as like a transactional thing, because like people hear stories like that and they assume like that's what sex workers on OnlyFans are doing.
And I
Like,
think even after stuff like when OnlyFans first started coming out, and I don't quote me on this, I'm not trying to spread misinformation, but I do believe that they changed the policy in some way where like creators had to really be like you have to verify yourself.
yeah.
It feels like a background check
Right.
when
Yeah.
you verify yourself. It's insane the process that you go through just to get verified. And if you don't get verified, your account, you can pretty much use it, but everything's on a freeze. So like you get no money. You won't see the money until you verified, and then you won't be able to spend the money until it's verified. You could see like $50,000 in your
know, you
account,
can't touch
and
it,
they can be like,
though.
"You're not a real person.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are
Yeah,
you?"
this
You
is
know.
just gonna be in the void.
Yes.
Yeah.
YouTube
and-
is like that. That's why I
and-
haven't made any money off of YouTube.
Really?
But
That
to
stinks.
my point, OnlyFans did make it like very rare, like, hey, meetups, because a lot of people understand in the culture of that meetups make you a lot more money. It seems they you're actually
Yeah.
flesh to flesh,
People will,
and like you're
pay you $25,000 to come fly out to them. Like it's bonkers.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's
some
bonkers.
Some of my friends got some crazy offers with shit like that, which they said no. But yeah, I mean, OnlyFans people, like, it's 100% like
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's boggling. I mean, I saw, you know what it was crazy? I saw a world where I saw this person have so much power in a way. And not that I think that's like you need to be power hungry or have this drive for power, but it was just so cool to see this person have that and like just be able to kind of like take control of their own thing, and like
yeah.
they didn't even have to meet up with anyone. They never
Yeah.
met up with anyone.
Yeah.
So it sounds like
You
this
know, like-
moment, even though it was challenging to navigate, was a moment in time that was really revolutionary to your growth as like a human with the
100%.
mindset that you have, like in a much necessary way, where like you were able to explore like gender roles and like independence of women, femininity, like masculinity, like
I was able to understand that people have hypersexuality
Right.
and that they like to express themselves hypersexually.
Right.
And like I also was able to just kind of, again, let the floodgates open. It was it became an easier adjustment, and it by the end of it I was able to, I like you guys said, I'm still allowed to have my boundaries.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I have boundaries. I don't like meetups. If
Yeah.
I were to date someone, if Brie were to tell me, I want to do this, I would set quite literally the exact same boundaries I had for this person.
Yeah.
I was just
mean,
gonna
I think-
ask if you would do it again.
Yeah.
Would I do it again? Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would hesitate on it. I don't have a hesitant bone on it. I think give me a reason to continue to believe why I should trust you to have this platform.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
think
know?
that's fair.
I think everyone's warranted
Yeah.
to have that platform. I should be allowed to have it. You should be allowed to have it. Everybody should be allowed to have the
But I
platform
also
with the conversation of partners and boundaries set in
Right.
play. Like, I think everyone looks at this platform and sees so much restriction. I get it. I think it just needs to be a little more configured and polished. Maybe.
Okay.
And maybe people can feel a lot more secure about it.
I also do think, though, it is important to note again that like it's not it's not wrong to feel like you would have to think on something like that. Like I don't like if Trav came to me and he was like, hey, I think I want to make an OnlyFans, and he was like, I'm seriously considering doing this. Like, I don't think it would be wrong for me to be like, hey,
yes,
let me think on that and get back to you. I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to make like a point blank statement. You're so correct. You are very correct.
I'm just putting that out there because I don't necessarily think that there should be shame attached to like being a person that's not necessarily like okay with that.
Yeah.
Like if
everybody has their preferences.
and like that's another part of it too. Like I do think people are like, you know, if you wouldn't date somebody with an OnlyFans, like you're a bad person. Yeah. I don't necessarily think that's true either. Like some people wouldn't date police officers. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
everybody has their thing. Swingers swing.
Exactly.
People do BDSM. People do do your thing. If you're not harming anyone, physically or emotionally, do your thing.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
100%.
It's like, you know, that's it. And that's really it. But overall, I think I would do it again. Just my own personal thing. I would do it again. I've become fully tolerant on the idea. I understand the platform a little better. I don't think I'm not expertise in it by any means, but like I understand the platform a lot better. And I think as long as the person I'm with just shows me I can trust them.
Right.
And has never really given me wavering doubt.
That's fair.
Why shouldn't I entertain it?
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Why shouldn't I?
Yeah.
You know?
Do you feel like it's your place to have a say in something like that? Or do you feel like
in a monogamous relationship? Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that.
or do you feel like, oh, it's not up to me, that's you and what you're doing?
I think both.
Personally. I think the person who's saying, like, I need to be involved in this conversation, and I think the person saying, well, how do you feel about this first? They're both perfectly in the right line.
Yeah.
Because if I ask the person, where's your head in all of this? Because like I said, like, this person that I was with had way more doubts than I did.
Right.
Funny enough, way more doubts. And I was like, no, do it. Like, and I wasn't like trying to be facetious about it. I do know I was trying to overcompensate in some ways, but like wasn't trying to be like facetious about it. And I saw the doubt in them, but I think they just needed a little push. The conversation works differently for everybody.
Yeah.
I that's the only way I can kind of put
I think that there is some level of respect in a monogamous relationship that 100%. Is like kind of expected, that like before you make a big ass decision like that, you're gonna run it by me.
Yeah.
Like at least in the workings of any monogamous relationship I've ever been a part of. Some shit like that needs to be a conversation.
And I think
like
that also goes hand in hand with like if I'm switching a job, I'm probably gonna be like, hey, before I like quit my job and do this other thing, or pick up this other thing, like how would you feel about it, kind of thing. But also like ultimately I do think that it would be up to you, and then I think it would be like if you're like, hey, I'm fucking doing it, I don't care what you think. I do think that like that's not necessarily in my opinion how I would handle it, but then I think it would be up to you to figure out.
It's up to the user.
If you're cool with that.
Because it's up to the user.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I have a friend, without like telling like too much of their tea, but I do have a friend that like they were like, hey, I'm gonna do sex work, and their partner was like, I don't know if I'm cool with that, and they were like, I don't really give a fuck, and then they were like, you figure out if you're cool with it or not, but this is what I'm doing. I don't necessarily know that I agree with that approach, but their partner ended up staying with them and like kind of coming around to it.
I feel like there would be a lot of resentment that would come from a partner in that situation.
I'm sure there was.
Without kind of like parenting this person on like trying to give them advice, like I agree. I don't agree with that approach by any means. But I would ultimately hope like whether they had stayed together or not, like he was able to, or the other partner, whoever it might be, they were able to find some sort of comfort some way and they can compromise. Yeah. Or this friend of yours was able to find a partner that could truly accept that.
Yeah. And that's kind of what ended up happening. And same for the other
partner. And then everybody's boundaries can, I think people are also so afraid of like that too, that it also, people are so afraid of conversation. And I think that it just, if it's ever crossed your mind or hasn't crossed your mind, that's cool. But I think just people need to have more conversations on that.
Yeah.
Like, and like when I'm speaking specifically to the monogamous relationship to people, like if you can't comfortably talk about sex at all in any derivation with your partner, like should you even really be having sex with each other by any means? Like this is the kind, I'm being so serious, as like when I was a kid, I was told so many times that if I have to ask so many questions about sex, or if I have to keep hyperfixating or overfixating about it, am I even really ready at all?
Right.
And then like I realized when I did lose my virginity, I wasn't ready. And like,
Damn, same.
yeah, damn, same. Yeah.
Oh, y'all lost your virginity to each other.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was in a
and
fucking crazy situation
it was
too. It was a
horrible
wild situation.
And we understood that. Like like I don't think in the moment we understood that, but
That's
as,
so bonkers.
as time passes on, you realize there's a lot of growing.
Fucking vapes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of growing. But
Phone's dead, babe's
set myself up for
phone's dead,
failure.
babe's dead. But yeah, like I think just like if you can't have that conversation, just I think you need to reevaluate that.
No,
and I think you need to
agree.
kind of look a little more internally, seriously, because there's issues with that. If you can't like men should be able to express themselves, women should be able to express themselves, or whoever you are should be able to express themselves sexually. That's a part of human nature. I don't think it has to be heinous, but the conversation should come up every now and then.
I agree.
You know?
Check in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you got some questions. For
Yeah,
Josh.
Bree's like, oh, for real?
She's like,
We're
actually,
getting
yeah.
tea today.
Oh God,
actually
why?
Josh's like, I'm gonna get fucking roasted when they leave this house.
You guys are gonna leave this house, and she's gonna be like,
But I do think,
Close
I
the
do
fucking
think
door
that you guys
now.
are. It's really awesome that you guys are able to sit here and have
Seriously.
kind of a professional conversation about these sorts of things.
yeah, I know.
Because
I know many
I might be a
conversations.
little uncomfortable talking in front of my friends about like that sort of like past stuff.
Really?
It can get a
No,
little
we're
hairy,
fucking-
so
we're
it's
good.
that you
Yeah,
guys
I
are
mean,
able
don't
to.
get me wrong. I feel slightly like I feel confident and comfortable, but I also have this like wavering anxiousness and uncomfort or discomfort. Sorry, of like I hope I'm doing this person justice and doing right by them by feeling like this whole time we've been talking.
I
like,
mean-
I think that you did a really good
I
job of
didn't-
painting a picture that of like this person was like you guys just maybe weren't the right match for each other. And you
I'm
had
sitting
some
right here.
growing room to do, yes.
But I'm not getting any impression that they were a bad person,
Exactly.
that they had
No.
malintentions.
Cool.
Like,
That's what I was gonna
none
say.
of that.
You did paint the picture that they weren't a bad person,
Yeah.
and that they didn't do anything wrong.
We had our own
Yes.
issues we needed to
Yeah.
resolve. They didn't get resolved, and
Now you
That
found
is
your
what it
love of
is.
your life again.
Damn
for the
right.
third time.
No, but also I think that you're like literally speaking from your own perspective and your own experience, and I don't think we're actually speaking about them at all.
Yeah.
Aside from like
Which is
nicknaming
cool.
them X.
I don't think any of you guys pulled that information out.
No,
from it.
they
Yeah.
don't
Really
have
cool.
anything to do with this. It's just the situation that you were literally in that is like fascinating to some people.
And unfortunately, they just happen to be involved in it.
Yeah.
I mean, not even
that's really it.
unfortunately. I mean, they, you know, you were in that situation because of them, and that was just a part of your life. And we're literally talking about your experience and like how you walked your way through this. And like, kind of, this would probably be a good podcast for anybody else that might even be dealing with this. To be honest, I do have a final question for you though.
Okay.
Did they look better than me?
No.
Bro, you can't ask that question.
I'm joking. It's a joke.
My stomach just went into my asshole.
What if I
Get on the pod.
What if I had said smash? Next question. Yes, next question. That one gets 5 big booms. Boom, boom. No, I'm gonna stop right now. No,
That's like,
I
you
will-
might die after this.
I can't believe
No.
you asked that. I hope you
fucking
edit that. I
joking.
hope you edit that out. I'm joking.
No,
I'm sure she will.
I'm
But
kidding.
you know what, though? I do think that, like, claps for you guys. Like, you
Yeah,
have your
yeah.
own boundaries. And I feel like you guys are, like, having a very respectful conversation.
Oh yeah, no. I came into this knowing I could comfortably talk about it. Like I feel majorly comfortable talking about myself in any capacity. So I just like to talk, and so that's just the problem.
Chatty
I feel
Cathy.
that's the problem.
Me too.
But again, in this scenario, like you guys had a curiosity, and I just so happened to fit the bill. Thankfully, you know. I mean,
Josh wears a lot of
and you know
hats.
what? Honestly, I'm very glad that. Well, first off, I'm glad I'm speaking to other women on this issue, but like at the same time, not that it's an issue. Well, I don't know, however you want to Topic.
Yeah, on this topic.
But I'm glad I'm speaking to you guys on it because like I love to hear everyone's perspective. Like I generally don't talk about this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like when I brought it up to you, I literally remember your reaction when you were just like, rewind that.
I was like, wait. what?
You did what? You dated someone what?
Yeah, and I was like,
like,
how have we never even talked about
I
this
was
before?
like, oh yeah. I was like,
but
I
it's
didn't-
because we
and
don't.
I didn't not talk about it because I was hiding it. I
I mean, it wasn't relevant to like our relationship and our
By no means.
situation.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even remember how the conversation came up, but I remember being fascinated the entire time. Like I was like, wait, what? And also like not from like a judgmental point of view, not from a like, do they look better than me kind of view. Like literally just like, what? How the fuck do you, not like how the fuck do you do that, but like that was not something that I've ever encountered before at all. And I was just like generally super curious. I think this is actually how this conversation came up, is because I had warned you when we got into a relationship. I was like, I get some fucking crazy direct messages. Telling you right now, I don't sexualize myself on the internet. I'm always super covered
That's
up as
right.
a,
And
as
then
a
Well,
person.
sexualize women no matter
Oh, I know.
what.
And I was telling you because I was like, just so you know, this is probably going to feel left field for you. I don't have any control over it. And I'm not like egging them on, because what the fuck am I doing to egg them on? I'm not doing anything to egg them on, or else you would maybe like expect
I've never
it
even
a little
seen you
bit.
post your legs on the internet.
Yeah.
Because I don't
like,
Yeah.
literally don't even know what your legs look like.
Right, same, basically. Because I don't fucking wear
Feel
shorts.
free to cut this out, but I think the wiki fee is what brought up.
Yes, it was my wiki feed.
OnlyFans.
Somebody made a fucking wiki feed of me. I have a 9 out of 10 rating, by the way. Don't fuck my wiki feed rating up. I swear to God, I would like to get paid for it because somebody else made that account and I don't get paid for it. But it was wiki feed, and I had mentioned to you that I get.
What is that, like a foot fetish account?
It's a foot fetish account, but they usually add like celebrities' photos of their feet if they find them on the internet. And somebody was doing that when I was like very into like posting when I was doing yoga and like stuff like that or
But
whatever.
it's not an account. It's an entire website. Like,
It's a
an
whole
entire
website, yeah.
That's bonkers. And people get paid for posting those things?
Girl, there's like at least 15 pictures of my feet on that. On
Bitch,
wiki feet.
Run your bag.
I fucking wish, but I can't get paid for it. That's what I was pissed
I
about.
would reach out to them. I would be like, this is me. I need the money.
Yeah, correct. But I think I had brought that up to you, and then I also was like, just so you know, I get some fucking weird direct messages, and I'm not like, what's the word? Is it antagonizing? Like, I'm not like provoking
Patronizing them. Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
trying to get them.
No,
in your
I'm not.
draw.
I don't think that I'm doing anything to do that, and I was trying to warn you about it, and you were like, I dated somebody with an OnlyFans. I am not bothered, and I was like,
Yeah, I was going to say,
wait.
that's nothing.
Yeah, I was like,
that's nothing.
yeah. And we literally had a whole conversation about it the same way that we're having it now,
Yeah.
which is why, I mean, like, again, I wasn't like phased by it or like, what the fuck do you mean? Or like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
don't- I
damn,
just-
you had a hot piece of shit, didn't you? Like, you had a hot piece
You
of ass, huh?
did. You did. Say, you. What did I?
Like,
what did you say? I think I
shorty.
told you the amount she made. She was like, "How hot was she?" And I was like, "It's not
Dude,
like
I had a friend that made. I had
Literally.
a friend that literally made like, I think within less than a year. It was like, I think 8 months. Not even. I think it was like literally within 6 months made like 40 grand.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. Yeah, the first question that I asked you was, I was like, how hot was this fucking person? Because I'm confused. Like, I was just like, how the fuck do you make that much money? Or like, it was literally just like a actual fascination, not like a, well, what the fuck, I can't believe, like, you know what I
Not
mean?
me. I would be like, I
think
need to know
also,
what this
though-
person looks like, and then I'm gonna overthink about it. Like, I feel like I would probably feel not like it's that person's fault,
no.
but I would probably be like, dang, oh, they're so confident. I wish I
That's
was that
literally how I
confident.
felt. I was like, you had a hot piece of ass. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like,
But I
that's
feel
like
like
dap you
you
up.
accept and like you receive information well. Like I can't picture you in any world like hearing that and like crashing out or feeling some type of way about it. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you pretty much like hear big things and like take it on the chin and are just like, okay, cool. Like
yeah, I
that's
do.
just,
I'll
like,
process that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I overly process and I never shut the fuck up for 7 days straight, as you've seen before.
But you don't ever
Literally.
but you don't ever immediately react.
No.
no,
definitely
I'm
not.
super good at saving
You
face.
control your immediate reactions
I do, yeah.
with everything.
It's true. Yeah.
So like
I'm
I
very
can see
like
how like that would be like productive
Yeah.
in like a conversation
Yeah,
like
that's great.
that.
Yeah.
yeah, I am very like logic first. Like my logical brain kicks in like immediately, and like I almost turn into like robot response where I'm like, oh, like I'm not a person you have to worry about like what's their knee jerk reaction gonna be like, because it's probably gonna be like therapists would rate it 8 out of 10 at least.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think I even
That's
have
great.
anything else. Do you guys have anything else? You
Yeah.
want to-
Are you gonna start an OnlyFans account?
Oh man.
I mean,
I don't know. When I was a gym
least we
rat
know
at
it
one
would
point,
go
I thought
over
about
well.
it. I thought about it because I was getting some. I was getting some offers.
I know some of those pictures that you sent me of you shirtless before. I was like, damn.
When I was a gym rat, I was like, I think I
shit.
can make this work. But no, I don't know. I don't think.
How would you feel? How would you feel about that? Like, if he was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna make an OnlyFans," how would you feel about it?
I would be extremely curious about who your subscribers would be.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say.
I would be super curious about your subscribers because I think, obviously, no offense to you, but I think it would be a lot of gay men.
Yeah.
And I also think that, like, I don't know. I think I'd just be like, is it worth it for you to make whatever amount of money that you're making? I'd be like, go for it, make the account, see how you do.
Yes, next question.
Like, go for it, make the account, see how you do, and then if you felt like you were not like having your worth met because you're not making enough off of it.
Gotcha.
Like, is this
Like,
worth...
are you doing yourself a disservice almost?
Correct, exactly. Are you doing yourself a disservice? Do you feel like you should be making more? Should you be charging more? Is this too much work for you? Is it worth the amount of work that you're doing?
I see it from a completely different complex. I think
that's where my brain would be, though.
I think, well, I don't know how versatile you are with OnlyFans, but I think that...
I'm not. I've had one friend with an OnlyFans, and they were not doing any kind of, like, nudity on OnlyFans.
Okay.
Well, she talked about it on my fucking podcast.
Yeah,
my
that's
my first podcast that I ever did.
Well,
We talked about it, but...
I think it's like that's where the complex I was thinking of. I think it's like a supply and demand kind of thing, right?
Right.
I think that's the faction that OnlyFans falls under. I've seen some accounts, the way they've grown, and I've only seen them based off of like what I was told while I was in this relationship. So I've seen some, like, I'm not doing this now, but like I've seen some accounts where they grows for super long, 3K followers, or it'll say like 3K likes or something like that on the website or the platform, and then like a month later depletes down to like in the hundreds.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, what? A lot of times it's instant gratification. Some of the people I have to go in the mindset that people just want to get their release, their fix, whatever they got to do. If that means it's a gay man, woman, whoever, I don't think it's selling myself. However, I have a different mindset approaching like OnlyFans. Like, me personally, I don't know how comfortable I feel. Like, it's already hard enough getting me in front of a camera sometimes. Like, I can get in front of a camera, but like, I don't know how I would feel naked in front of a camera or like shirtless in front of I have not purposely posed like shirtless in front of a camera, like actually, like minus that.
I know, I haven't gotten any pictures like that since the beginning of our relationship.
And I have like over my lifespan, I've had like insane body dysmorphia, like on and off.
That would be my issue.
I think like that's where like that would be my downfall. I'd start for like a week and then I'd be like, well, I am literally the ugliest person alive, so I need to delete the platform. And I think that's where like my mind has always gone on that topic. Do I feel like would I start one? Yeah, because I've seen sometimes how the money is, but then I'm also like,
to be honest,
I'm too wishy-washy on that topic.
I'm gonna be real honest. I feel like that would be a business move. You make an account and then you delete it, and people are like, "Fuck!" And then you come back and they're like, "I have to subscribe," and then you make more money like that. Somebody should do that shit. I don't know who, but you should do it.
But you know what? Too, I was gonna say is like so I had attempted or like considered, I guess, like doing something like that, and I realized like pretty quickly like how much work actually goes into it.
It is so much work,
because like I feel like because it's so like normalized and like people are like, oh yeah, haha, just make an OnlyFans. Like they make it seem like super casual and like easy piece of cake. It's really not. It's like a whole. You have to put a lot of work.
You
into
have
it.
to be a social media influencer for OnlyFans.
Yes, and on top of that, be a normal like promoting it on your normal social media as well. So and like also on bad days, like if you're having a bad mental health day or body image day, you gotta like literally still get ass naked and put your whole like.
And that's
junk
where
right on the camera. So it's like
the last thing I want to do on a bad mental health day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, especially if I'm like bloated. I'm not trying to like be naked in front of myself, or let alone like a camera, and then I have to watch it back, and then I gotta edit it. Like I'm not doing that shit.
And that's exactly what I mean by like, are you doing yourself a disservice? Because if you're not making enough money where you feel like you're meeting your worth or your value is being met by the numbers that you're receiving from this platform, is it worth the amount of work that you have to put in? Because like even when I bring this down to like a level of what the fuck I'm doing right now, podcasting. I put so many more fucking hours in than I'm even getting listens or that I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does the scale even out?
I think it's just it's subjective.
it is very subjective.
I feel like I could approach it from like I can't get defeated by because first off, no, like it's not where like I don't even want to be like a social media influencer. You saw how I struggled with Tether. You saw how I struggled with and like Will ended up taking the reins. You saw how I struggled with like sometimes even my own personal social media. I don't even fucking post. So like I like post on Instagram stories. That's it. And so
Same. I'm like an Instagram story warrior.
Like, to answer your question, the short version, no. But I'm also like I've never thought about it ever. Like
truly
whether
deeply.
Or not. Like I've never like deep dove thought. Like it was either balls to the wall, I'm doing this. Like when I was a kid, I used to joke around. I'm like, don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm gonna be a porn star. And it was like gung ho balls to the wall. Like, jokes aside. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. But it never held water. It never held weight. I was just joking. I was just making jokes. And like in that same, like, I'm like, I don't think I ever thought about whether it would be a disservice to me. Had I still been like toxic masculine, probably. I'd probably be like, what you doing, bud?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I don't know. But I don't think, I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't, it's just not something I've thought about.
Yeah. It's okay. Not everybody thinks about it. And that's why some people have an account and they can thrive and others of us will subscribe. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about. Get your bag.
Since this is Girls vs. World, let's do some group chat gossip.
Oh, slay.
Yeah. Slay. We haven't done that in a minute.
Yeah, we haven't.
Casey, we'll let you start. You got anything?
The motherfucking Philadelphia Eagles, bro.
I fucking knew you were going to bring up the Eagles.
I don't know when this episode is coming out, but as we sit here today, it is several days post Super Bowl parade.
Yes.
And I'm still reeling over it. Every video I watch on TikTok brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah. I wish I cared enough to like have that reaction.
Okay, here's the thing I will school you all right now. So, Kansas City Chiefs, they were the big bad fucking wolves. They are the dynasty. Taylor Swifties. Fucking we don't like them, okay? We don't like them. They've had control for too fucking long.
I agree.
Here come the Philadelphia Eagles. No one fucking likes us.
No, we spelled Eagles wrong.
Okay,
correct.
No one likes us. We don't care. But you have to remember, we are the underdog. Every fucking season, we are the underdogs.
Yeah.
And when we come and put that belt to that motherfucking ass and end the dynasty, it is a big deal. We ended Taylor Swift. We ended Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Big fucking deal.
All I know is we don't like Patrick Mahomes.
We don't like him. We don't like him. Cooper DeJean. Let's talk about him.
That sounds like a made-up person.
It does.
Yeah. Cooper DeJean flies white boy on the Philadelphia Eagles.
What? It makes me think of like a mustard, like
Pick 6
Dijon
on his
mustard.
fucking birthday, bro.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
After 2 sacks. They sacked Patrick Mahomes not once, but twice, back to back. And then he threw a pick 6, which is when the offensive player, so Patrick Mahomes, threw the football as if he was throwing it to his own players. Cooper DeJean said, no, fuck you. I'm going to catch it first. Oh. And then he ran that shit back for a touchdown.
Damn.
That's what a pick 6 is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
I don't know shit.
I'm living in all of
Same.
my glory. But here's what we have to understand. Philadelphia is an underdog city.
Right.
It is the poorest large city in the country. And the Philadelphia Eagles are the one thing that unites that city year and year and year again. And it is something that our city has needed. And watching my city party on Broad Street brought tears to my fucking eyes.
Hell yeah.
Love that for you. You're giving Philly realness right now, girl.
So much passion.
Yes, I love
so
to
much
see
passion.
it.
Philly.
Hell yeah. What about you? Any group chat gossip this week?
Oh gosh, what was my Well, this week has been kind of dog shit for me, if I'm honest.
Oh no.
But I think honestly, you know what? This is so silly. My household, Moana has taken over.
Love.
And so
Go
my
off.
whole brain is like literally Moana songs. So as silly
that
as it
movie.
sounds, that has been my hyperfixation, whether I want it to be or not.
Okay.
It's just constantly, I'll be like feeding my kid and I'm just like, Moana. Singing little Moana songs and stuff. But so Disney, apparently. I'm a Disney girl this week.
Do you like Encanto?
Oh, I fucking love Encanto.
Fucking love Encanto.
Encanto is the other one. When I'm Moana'd out, we go to Encanto.
I think when I came over the other day, it was Encanto that was on the TV, and I was getting a little jiggy with it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a sleigh. Yeah.
Theo was really reeled into it. He was
loves
locked the fuck in.
Moana. He loves Encanto. Frozen, But you know what?
I could do
watched
without Frozen.
and I
Same.
sat my ass on the floor and was locked in. That movie is like magical.
I'm done with princess movies.
No, I just think that having a kid really reopened it for me. I'm
Understandable.
like, whoa, these princess movies are better than like Aurora. Sorry.
No.
y'all. Let me tell you
Oh.
what. Let me tell you what. If you sit and you watch Frozen, that shit is a masterpiece.
Really?
It is a masterpiece.
Frozen is really good.
And you know what?
It
There's a
is really
Frozen
good.
2.
Yeah,
Lucky
there is a
me.
Frozen too.
Guess what I'm going to be doing at the casino when I get drunk and I go back to the hotel room? Because Theo didn't want to watch it. So, yeah.
Damn.
Really?
Okay.
Wow.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
that's another thing. We're going to the casino for our anniversary. So I've been like really hyper fixated on that. Because if
Which
I could
casino?
just like Mount Airy up in the Poconos.
Nice.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I could just
Cool.
win like $6,500 so I can get a new fucking car, that would be.
I'm too fucking poor to gamble. I
That'd
need
be
to hold
sick.
on to all my monies that
well,
I can
we're
possibly
using tax
keep.
return money, and that's
Hell
like
yeah.
the beauty of our anniversary being like February 21st. Will be 9 years this year.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Ask
Mom
me if
and
I got a
Dad.
ring on my finger because I don't.
Oh,
but
dear God.
anyways,
At Trav.
at Strawberry Travis.
Damn.
He's putting his whole government
His
name.
whole government name. I actually got him this shirt. Usually for our anniversary, we do like a gag gift and then like a good gift. And his gag gift this year is a shirt that's about the same color as your crew neck. And it is a frog. And he's got 2 guns and it says strawberry jams, but my Glock don't.
Oh my
It's
god.
amazing. He's wearing it as we speak right now.
Is he
Yes. I'll have to send you a picture. It's so good. But
Strawberry
you gotta-
jams,
yeah.
but my Glock.
Oh,
No, that's
yes.
real as shit.
That's fucking
That's
crazy.
funny as
But
fuck.
yeah, so we're going to the casino, so I've been hyper fixated on like
Hell yeah.
like I just am like I could just if I could just win 10 grand. Just a light
Some
10
slight.
yeah.
I'm hoping for millions and millions of dollars for you.
Well, please and thank you. And if I do, I will come on this podcast and I will say not shit about it.
Hell yeah.
But there will be signs.
And we will
Hell
get to
yes,
that.
we
Yes.
will get to that, yes.
In the next episode. I think my hyperfixation this week has been 2 things. Number 1, the Ford Bronco, because I just got back from Chicago Auto Show. I drove it all fucking week, and I'm literally about to turn in my fucking Jeep.
That ass?
Don't do it.
Swear to God.
I support that.
Swear to
What
God.
kind? Guess what? That shit's
though?
not electric.
What kind? What color? What model?
Probably a Badlands with a Sasquatch package.
Oh my
Probably
God,
electric
the
blue.
good one. Oh, the good one. I
You're-
did see. So I saw this one that's like
Maybe a black diamond. I would settle for a black diamond.
I saw one and it was like. So there's 2. There's the Badlands one and it's like yellow, like canary yellow.
Oof.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
want the Heritage Edition so fucking
I
bad.
don't think I know what that one is, but there's one that I saw and
Insane.
I don't remember the exact like model of it, but it was like it only had it was a 2-door.
Yeah.
And it was like baby blue and it had Bronco in the front and like red.
Oh, that's the Heritage Edition.
Oh,
It
is
says
it?
Ford in the front in red, and then the wheels are white, and the inside the seats are like a plaid, but they're
Yeah.
like cloth or whatever, and it's a 2-door. And then I think there's something else. Oh, the dash should be white too.
Yeah. But
obsessed.
it's like a
Literally,
sky blue.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, they had one at the
That's Heritage.
dealership up the street from me, and I stared.
Trade that Jeep in before your battery dies.
Girl, the Jeep is fucking up. Not
Is it?
actually, no.
I saw
no,
that
no.
recall on the table.
Not actually fucking up, but like first they're like the hybrid batteries are catching on fire, so I take my shit into the dealership, let them do the recall. Ever since then, I feel like my car has no torque.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
Yes.
And then she just got another thing in the mail saying another recall.
Another recall.
saw that
I'm
on the
gonna call
table.
them tomorrow and see what the fucking recall is
Okay.
because I want to double check it before you borrow
Yeah.
it. But the other hyperfixation that I had was this show called Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix.
I've seen so many people review that and post that on Instagram this
Is it
week.
good?
I got through the whole fucking thing.
Did you?
I got through the whole thing. I thought it was really fucking good. I was sucked into the whole story. It's only 6 episodes long. It's a limited series, but their episodes are like an hour long each, and I would fall asleep to it every night while I was at work. And I want you to finish that show because I will watch it a second time just for you to finish it.
Yeah, I think I watched the first episode, but I've been watching The Pit. And
Is this your
so
hyperfixation?
good, right?
I have plenty. I actually have a few, and I'll list them. The Pit has been my obsession since you left. It's just it definitely in my head. I don't want to say it's better than Grey's.
It's not. No, fuck no. You can't say that.
but it has
Casey.
but it has an element to it
it's raw.
that feels way more real than Grey's.
Yeah.
Like everything each episode is consistently done in the hospital constantly. The drama, maybe the snide remarks, maybe a little flirtation, like everything
The fact
is
that the
just
one resident has an ankle monitor on.
like the filming of this show is so clever. Like
Yeah.
it's all like timed so good, and the episodes don't feel like they drag on. Like it's just good. It's just good.
It's so good.
It's
I
just
told
good.
you would like it.
But maybe apple cider vinegar might be my next hyperfixation. I've had a really big hyperfixation with my Twitch account. Like
Yeah, you've been
streaming.
streaming.
Notice you
Oh
streaming
yeah,
a
I
lot.
saw
this
that.
week.
Trav had like a little phase of that too, where
I,
he
like-
did it and he loved it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if it's a phase. I don't know what it is. I just like have talked about it for so many years. So
I
many
click
people,
on every link that you
so
put
many
up.
people
Oh,
have
I
been
love
telling
that.
me to do it. I just got my 9th follower.
Slay.
I'm
And I
about to
was
be number
like,
10 because I'm
yeah.
gonna make an account tonight.
And just
Yeah.
a few days ago, like I just started streaming. I've only done 2 streams, and like I had, I think at that time, like 4 followers, and that was just
Yeah.
because they watched me stream a really shitty game, really shitty version of
That's
the game.
fine,
And
honestly.
it was crazy. It was insane. And now
You
I
can go, like, from my understanding, you can get followers really easily.
Yeah, I gotta rebrand myself. It's unfortunate. My Twitch name I think is like Sad Boy Joshy.
It is,
and that's
yeah.
like so emo era Josh.
That's
like,
okay. Like, be emo era Josh. Like, I love that for
I
you.
just feel like I copied my old tattoo artist at the time.
Oh,
But
Sad Boy Kurt?
Sad Boy Kurt.
Oh,
yeah,
Slay
yeah.
Kurt.
Love you, Kurt.
Love
I wish we
Kurt.
talked more. But
Reach out to Kurt.
yeah, now I gotta
Reach out to Kurt 2025.
Hell
But
yeah.
Kurt, speaking of not like similar energy, not OnlyFans, but there was also a thing during the pandemic where hot girls were getting a fucking bag on Twitch. Do you
Hell
remember this?
yes, I
Because they
do.
were literally just like streaming themselves like in the hot tub playing video games or like
There was that one girl that was super hot that had Tourette's that was a Twitcher that
Yeah.
she streamed on Twitch, and like she had like a real specific tick that she did, and like people were in love with
Oh
that
my
shit.
So
Like,
God.
just
Yeah.
like that girl that's TikTok, like
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, look at the people
Balin.
now.
Yeah.
I love Balin.
Me too.
Wind up.
Yeah.
Wind up. Wind up.
I mean, we definitely don't have time to
Airport.
talk about it, but look at the people now even doing streams of like acting like NPCs. Like they're making a
Like,
bag,
remind me again. What does NPC
Yes.
stand for?
non-playable character
can't
or
remember that.
I hate
non-programmable
it. I hate
character.
it so
not you know.
much. I hate it
but,
so much.
But there's people that'll literally sit there and like they'll just do emotes. I guess like
Yeah.
they'll literally like make all these crazy faces or like they'll say these catchphrases over and over and over again. One of them had me cracking up. One of them was like these people were paying this person constantly and making them do this emote where they were like thank you for the glizzy and basically like
Oh my god.
fake sucking a dick like
Yep.
in the middle of the air.
Yep.
They're like thank you for the glizzy.
Yeah.
And I'm like whoa! I was like what is that?
That's where I roll the outro music.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Let me be honest.